Ed here for book club. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts on chapter 7 and the book overall. This topic brought out some strong emotions and ideas. After watching your posts, I noticed a common theme: frustration with misinformation and political inaction, but also a sense of hope and responsibility to do something about it. Many of you pointed out how easily misinformation spreads, and I have the same frustration. One thing I would reiterate is that we live in an age where everyone has access to information, but not everyone has the tools to look at it critically. This chapter reminded me of how important it is for us to be informed as individuals and to step up to combat misinformation whenever we can. It's a small step, but it will make a big difference in shaping how people view public health issues. A few of you mentioned how easy it is to feel powerless in the face of systemic problems like health inequities. I get that too. It's overwhelming at times, but what stood out to me was about the chapter and some of your posts is that a small idea, consistent action, those lead to meaningful change, whether it's through voting, contacting your representatives, or having conversations in the community. These help us break that cycle of inaction. And I think the biggest barrier for many of us is believing that our individual actions even matter. The book inspired me to push through that doubt and focus on whatever can be done, even if it feels small at first. I also appreciated the point some of you made about collaboration. Health inequities are too big to solve alone, and we need partnerships between policymakers and communities. Like a few of you mentioned, building trust within communities is key to making these collaborations work. That's something I want to focus on in my own efforts, whether it's through my work or volunteering. Trust is the foundation for effective change, and we can't build that unless we're willing to show up consistently. The part about government accountability also stuck with me, as many of you as well. Isn't it frustrating that we've become so disillusioned with politics? The government is supposed to work for us, but we've seen time and time again how lobbyists and special interest groups derail the mission. This book gives me hope, though, and this discussion reminds us that we have a voice. We just have to use it. I think one of the challenges is figuring out how to make civic engagement part of our regular lives when we already have so much on our plates. I appreciated hearing some of your ideas for staying involved, and it's inspired me to think about how I can make advocacy more an intentional part of my routine. The takeaway from the book that I saw in many of your posts is that the idea of inaction is harmful. It's easy to get stuck in the mindset that someone else will take care of it. But this book and your insights reminded me that if we don't do it, who will? I'm leaving this discussion feeling inspired to fight misinformation, encourage people to vote, and I'm grateful to have this conversation because it's helped me to see that even when the problems seem overwhelming, there's strength in community and shared purpose. Thanks.